Hello, I'm Lantz Ferrell, a lecturer with the Richards College of Business Management Department. Philip Reaves, Samantha White, and I have collaborated on the topic Applying Metacognition for Improved Learning, Strategies and Lessons Learned, and I would like to present our ideas and findings for you. Before beginning, I would like to thank the Center for Teaching and Learning for allowing us the opportunity to present at this year's conference. The inspiration for this research came from a lecture by Sandra McGuire regarding metacognition. After learning more about this, I began informally introducing these concepts in class and received great feedback from the students who took the necessary steps to apply these theories. This prompted the desire to implement a metacognitive theory more formally as part of the instructional design of my introductory courses and to conduct a study to evaluate the perceived and actual effectiveness. Metacognition is basically learning about learning, focusing not on the content but on the process. In the past year, we were forced to adjust to hybrid and online instruction. While this is a topic we were interested in before, the past year has shown us even more so how important it is for students to understand how to learn. Effective learning strategies. We hope to reintroduce this topic in the coming fall semester and continue our research. Metacognitive knowledge is that segment of your stored world knowledge that has to do with people as cognitive creatures and with their diverse cognitive tasks, goals, actions, and experiences. For instance, a child may believe that she is smarter than her classmates or that she is prettier than the other girls. There are three interdependent variables to metacognitive knowledge. Person encompasses all you could eventually believe about the nature of yourself and others as cognitive processors. Task, understanding what variations imply for how the cognitive enterprise should best be managed and how successful you are likely to be in achieving its goal. And strategy, there's a lot of knowledge that can be gained on strategies that are likely to be effective in achieving goals and sub-goals in cognitive undertakings. I always tell my management students, don't just learn the bold words, be able to recognize and apply the concept for application questions. Our metacognitive experiences may occur when we are in circumstances that stimulate a lot of careful, highly conscious thinking, things like a job or school task that expressly demands that kind of thinking. They may also occur in unique circumstances where you must carefully plan and execute. Metacognitive experiences may be described as metacognitive knowledge that has entered consciousness. For instance, you wrestle with a problem and you suddenly recall a similar experience and how you handled it. Metacognitive experiences have important effects on cognitive goals or tasks, metacognitive knowledge, and cognitive actions or strategies, like what we're trying to do with our students by helping change their study habits. These strategies are part of the study cycle and will help as students prepare to learn. These strategies include previewing, looking over material before studying or before going to class, attending class, tell your students go and take notes. Review afterwards. Do the homework. Don't let assignments pile up. Study. Repetition. Teach the material to someone else. Say it to yourself. And finally, assess. Tell them to create a practice exam. As they are creating, they may not even be aware that they are learning. We plan to conduct the study in 3 parts. In the first session, we will review the results of the student's first exam and discuss how they performed and how they prepared. After administering a pre-survey, we would conduct a lesson on metacognition and learning strategies. During the second session, we would administer the post-lecture survey and discuss students' reactions to the metacognitive learning strategies. Finally, following the next assessment, our third session would consist of the post-assessment survey engaging in a class debrief of the strategies to determine any measurable improvement in student performance. The following slides show questions for each of the 3 sessions and discuss our survey questions on the results of the pre-survey administered in spring 2020 prior to the COVID shutdown. Often students state they would study to make an A on the test, but when we discussed the amount of actual study they would use if they were going to teach the material to the class, they realized they would be much more intentional in their preparation. The resulting byproduct would be not only would the class would do well, but they would likely score much better themselves since they would more thoroughly prepare. The next 3 questions gauge student feelings on learning. To end the pre-exam, we would present 2 thought-provoking questions concerning their study and learning habits. Within the beginnings of this study, the following findings were discovered concerning the pre-exam questions. Most students did not know much about Bloom's taxonomy of learning. Without realizing, many may have been at the bottom of the pyramid, remembering and learning, and it has served them well in the earlier school years. But if we can teach them how to better study, they may move up to the levels of applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Here are a few more questions from our survey. After pre-exam questions had been discussed, another survey would have been given on what students thought as they prepared for the next exam. As you already know, because of the COVID pandemic, we weren't able to finish the project. Had this not happened, the following post-lesson questions would be given. The first question gives a range on their beliefs, but the second question asks students to choose which techniques they might begin to employ to improve grades. And let me pause here. Improving grades doesn't always mean improving a failing grade, but can mean bringing grades up to a superior level, maybe to pass an entrance test into a postgraduate program. There were only 3 questions on the post-lesson analysis, and the final question asked students to state their beliefs the material that we presented was or was not useful in helping them understand the material, and thereby to improve their learning. The final set of questions would have been given as a third lecture period after students had taken another test and were able to evaluate the effectiveness of the techniques they had been taught. There were 5 questions on the post-exam analysis, and 4 of the 5 related to student perceptions of the techniques. Having students buy into the metacognitive concept is essential in helping them improve their learning. These strategies can be applied to any course regardless of the discipline. We were interested in students taking an introductory management course, but students throughout the College of Business, Humanities, Arts, Maths, and Sciences could all use these to improve their grades in any course. As stated earlier, student buy-in is the key. And another application might be for ESL students. If there are any language concerns, they will have a helping hand, if you will, to be able to study material that is given. Our research is still in progress, and our data was used with an introductory management course at a single university. Some of our limitations could be addressed if we were to apply these ideas to other business courses. We could use the study to analyze differences in efficacy in virtual and face-to-face classes. The world and our classes as we know them have and are continuing to change. Finally, we could conduct a longitudinal study where student scores and study techniques are followed from the freshman year to graduation. Thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, please let us hear from you.